সুপ্রিয় দর্শক, সবাইকে আমন্ত্রণ জানাচ্ছি ওশ আইকন অনুষ্ঠানে। 28 এপ্রিল বিশ্বব্যাপী পালিত হচ্ছে ওশ দিবস, অকুপেশনাল সেফটি অ্যান্ড হেলথ ডে। বাংলাদেশে এই দিবসটিকে আরও বেশি সচেতন করতে, আরও বেশি কর্মময় করতে এবং গুরুত্ববহ করতে যারা নিরলসভাবে কাজ করে যাচ্ছেন, এমন একজনকে আজকের স্টুডিওতে আমরা আমন্ত্রণ জানিয়েছি। তিনি ILOর কান্ট্রি ডিরেক্টর Tuomo Poutiainen. Hello.
Hello, and thank you for having me.
Good evening, Tuomo. Welcome to our show, OSH Icon. I think you know that we have had some bad fire accidents recently in Bongo Bazar and other markets. What do you think about these fires?
First of all, it's very unfortunate, of course, that such fire incidents have happened. And I think it's a testament to the fact that there is still quite a lot to be done in terms of fire safety, but also generally in instituting sort of a culture of occupational safety and health and workplace safety in Bangladesh, and particularly in these smaller workplaces such as markets and bazaars.
Do you identify any specific lackings of us?
So in terms of this culture of safety and health, I think there are a couple of things that one could look into. One of them is how these establishments are constructed, how, let's say, the fire safety issues are addressed from the onslaught when you are looking into having a workplace, be it a retail or be it a production site or a service center of any kind. You have certain specific issues that you need to look into when you construct and when you manage, let's say, electricity or these kind of things, right? So there's a lot to be done in terms of when you're actually developing the workplace. Then it's about maintaining safety, right? It is very important that there's a continuing attention on looking at electrical safety, fire safety, and generally safety at work. It's simply not something that you do one time and then you leave it. It is something that you need to continuously pay attention to. And there's a role for everyone in this. There's a role for government and the authorities. There's a role for who owns these businesses. And there's also a role for those who work in these businesses.
You think it would be a continuous process for safety measures?
Yeah, that's the maintenance and understanding of how safety is organized and managed, and the fact that it is this continuing process of addressing it.
Definitely.
Is extremely important. That's the best prevention for accidents to happen, is that you know what the risks are, you know how to maintain, you know how to keep eye on issues and how to address them on regular basis.
I know you are living in Bangladesh for some time now. What change do you see in terms of OSH, occupational safety and health?
So I've been here almost 8 years. I came here relatively recently after the Rana Plaza collapse, right? Yes. So I've seen quite a lot of investment in improving industrial safety and occupational safety. So in the last, let's say, almost 10 years, there's been quite a tremendous investment in building sort of government capacities in relation to regulations, enforcement, inspections, right? But there's also been quite a lot of investment by the industries and employers in terms of working on safety and health. And that also includes training and internalizing occupational safety and health by the workers themselves at the level of big industries and also sort of even smaller industries. But I do think that there's a continuing need to work more on the smaller industries and particularly on the informal industries going forwards.
Do you think law should more restrict or more powerful?
There is a kind of like.
And there is any lackings of this?
Well, there is, of course, room to improve on the regulations and laws, right? So the regulations and laws, there are many of them. It's not just one law, right? There's the labor law, there's the Fire Safety Act, there is a boiler safety related laws, there's a chemical safety related regulations and instructions. So there's not only one, right? There's quite a lot of these various elements to how to keep Bangladesh workers and workplaces safe, right? So I think there is a continuing need to appraise and to make sure that everybody understands what the requirements are, that employers in particular who have a specific responsibility on safety, right, know what to do and are doing it, right? But also that the workers who live in these workplaces, who work in these workplaces every day, they also know what the safe workplace looks like and can play their role in organizing safety and ensuring safe workplaces.
I want to know from you, Bangladesh has ratified many core and other conventions and protocols of ILO. What are the expected outcomes of these actions?
Bangladesh is a member state of the ILO, and part of being a member state, there is an expectation to respect what we call fundamental principles and rights at work. So these are issues around freedom of association, collective bargaining rights, addressing child labor, and addressing issues such as forced labor. And Bangladesh has indeed signed into and ratified many of all these conventions. Relatively recently, the ILO has added Occupational Safety and Health as a key fundamental convention. And we are looking forward to Bangladesh considering in the future also perhaps ratifying these Occupational Safety and Health conventions.
Okay, we know occupational safety and health is much more important. We want to know from you many more. Now we are going to take a short break and we will be back shortly. দর্শক, আপনারা দেখছেন ওশ আইকন অনুষ্ঠানটি। ছোট্ট একটা বিরতির পর আবারও ফিরছি, সঙ্গে থাকবেন আমাদের। দর্শক, আবার অভিনন্দন ওশ আইকন অনুষ্ঠানে। আমরা কথা বলছিলাম আইএলওর কান্ট্রি চিফ তোমো পুটিআইনেনের সঙ্গে। ওয়েলকাম ব্যাক টু আওয়ার ডিসকাশন। প্লিজ টেল মি what you are telling to us.
Well, thank you. And to add, I think one of the things that we've seen over the last almost 10 years is quite a big investment that the government, through the Ministry of Labour and particularly the Department of Inspections, is been doing to upgrade the capacities and the knowledge and the abilities of the DIFE to actually do labour inspections, right? And also we've seen the collective effort, not only by the Department of Inspection, but also together with the fire safety and civil defense, with the boiler safety, with some of the city corporations and districts, to actually rally around to try to have better inspection modalities, to advocate, enforce, and to look after industrial safety in workplaces. So that's very welcome, and we of course want to see and continue to work together with DIFE on improving these inspections, as Bangladesh is very much growing, and a lot of new workplaces, a lot of new establishments, factories, small and big, are being developed. It's very important that this government enforcement and regulatory framework is such that it allows for these better working conditions to be and safer working conditions to be there, right? So that's one thing. What we also seen is this continuing investment by the private sector, by the industries, the industry associations, but also individually the employers when it comes to their factories and to their supply chain. Their investments continue to increasingly be there, right? And this is very much the right thing to do, right? Because at the end of the day, it is very important that the safety at work is lived at the workplace. So you have to have the right kind of safety management systems, the right kind of culture of safety that I was talking about, the right kind of attitudes and behaviors in relation to occupational safety and health and industrial safety. So these are the kind of things we see. And a very important point in this is the worker's voice. So the ILO is of the view that it's very difficult to have real culture of safety if the workers' voice and their views and their opinions are not factored into. And this is why it is so important to have a partnership to build the right kind of safety practices at the enterprise level and at the workplace level.
Do you explain more cultural safety for our viewer?
So the culture of safety is really this understanding of this joint responsibility and understanding what constitutes the right kind of behaviors and systems to keep workplaces safe. And it goes back to this issue that it's not just one organization's or one partner's responsibility. It's really everybody's responsibility, right? So of course there are certain emphases in that. So government's role is to regulate, it's to enforce the laws, it's to make sure that people understand and they comply. If they don't, there needs to be a sanction, right? Because yes. Otherwise, if laws are not respected, then you cannot really expect safety to be there, right? Employers' role is to understand the laws and to apply them. And so they have a very, very distinct role because they are responsible for the workplace. They are responsible for the workers and public safety. It's not only the workers who are inside an establishment, it's also the passers-by. You know, those who are walking on the street side, those who are next to the buildings, fires and big industrial accidents. They don't discriminate. Everybody's affected yes. if something big happens. And then lastly, it's the workers themselves. They also have a responsibility in understanding how to operate machines, for example, how to do it safely, what to do when there's a problem. Also to have the ability and to inform supervisors and managers if they see something that is not right? So in that way, this culture of occupational safety and health is everybody's responsibility, while there is a distinct responsibilities for everyone in it.
As part of ILO roadmap, government of Bangladesh has taken numbers of initiatives. How ILO Bangladesh is supporting the government in implanting these activities?
So we are of course very glad to see that the government has this clear commitment to this change process, improving laws and regulations, improving inspection modalities, improving the way that the government is teaching, educating and compelling employers and workers to have occupational safety and industrial safety in Bangladesh, right? So ILO's role is to continue to technically support various organizations such as DIFE and Department of Labor too, but also working together with the private sector and the workers' organizations and trade unions in order to really have that capacity in a forward-looking manner to be able to build occupational safety and health and industrial safety practices in Bangladesh. And garment sector and the big industries who are sort of export-oriented, they are automatically looked into, and they have sort of a necessity to have these
very
kind
important.
It's kind of like part of the business model.
Yes.
It's very difficult in a modern age to not to have better practices in relation to working conditions or safety and health if you want to sell something to markets out there, right? But this is not the same necessarily when it comes to local businesses or the informal industries in Bangladesh. So we all know that most of the work in Bangladesh is informal economy. So almost 80% of the work is done in informal economy. And there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands of small and medium enterprises which also need to have some level of understanding of fire safety and occupational safety, because that's where so many of the workers work, right? They don't work in the big factories, they work in small establishments, right?
Yes. We want to know more. Now we are going to take a short break, and we will be back soon.
Thank you.
দর্শক, আপনারা দেখছেন ওশ আইকন অনুষ্ঠানটি। ছোট্ট একটা বিরতির পর আবারও ফিরছে অনুষ্ঠানে, সঙ্গে থাকবেন। দর্শক, আপনাদের আবারও আমন্ত্রণ ওশ আইকন অনুষ্ঠানে। ওয়েলকাম ব্যাক টু আওয়ার ডিসকাশন। প্লিজ কন্টিনিউ।
Thank you. So we were discussing a bit on the fact that the big export industries, they have been investing quite a lot in relation to safety and industrial safety, structural safety, all these very important areas. But what perhaps needs more investment is to have a similar attention to the smaller industries, to the local industries, and also to the informal workplaces. Because accidents at the end of the day, they can happen at any kind of a workplace, right? And then they can extend to the neighboring business and to the other business nearby, right?
Yes.
So it's very important that continuing attention is also kept on SMEs and on informal economy workplaces, such as warehouses, marketplaces, small production facilities that are unfortunately often in residential areas and in congested places, right? So we see increasing attention by government and the city corporations in this area, which is very good. But and this is the right thing to do. It is the right thing to sort of educate and look into what are the major risks in these informal economy workplaces, and how can these major risks addressed so that these workplaces are safer, and also public can be safe in terms of visiting these markets and boutiques and shops.
ILO has been involved in some policy reform regarding OSH, Occupational Safety and Health. What is the future plan of ILO in assisting Bangladesh to have a safer working environment?
There is a national action plan on occupational safety and health that is very much managed and overseen by the Ministry of Labour. This kind of a national occupational safety and health sort of action plan is really to continue to keep up with the requirements of evolving businesses in Bangladesh. So when Bangladesh is developing its rural economy, it's developing its export industries, its service sectors are also developing. So what it means is that the safety at work and occupational safety and health in all these sectors needs to continue to be upgraded and invested in. And that's what the ILO also is very much willing to continue to support, as we have this very strong partnership with the government of Bangladesh in the area of occupational safety and health.
How can we aware more our labor on the terms of occupational safety and health?
So it's very important that there is this kind of general advocacy and general training and capacity building at all levels, right? So workers, of course, need to know about safety and health. Well, they need to know about the labor law. They need to know about their rights and responsibilities. They need to know about what is their responsibility, what occupational safety and health is, and what their role is at the level of enterprise in relation to this. Also, the middle level management and managers need to know about occupational safety and health, because they are the ones who are sort of responsible for the teams and the people who are working in this establishment. Higher level management needs to know, because they are the ones investing, looking at the budgets, looking at the production, looking at the business as a whole. So there's a whole chain of workers and managers and responsible people, and they all need to be able to be educated on the importance of occupational safety and health, and at the same time general public. At the end of the day, almost everybody works. I work, you sir, you work, you have certain safety risks in relation to your workplace, right? Fire safety is one of them. There are other occupational safety risks too. So it's very important, as Bangladesh is modernizing, moving forward, is developing as a modern economy, and you have more and more new quality jobs, what we in ILO we call decent jobs, right? So more of that is there. So the safety and health of everybody in the workplace becomes something that needs to be truly invested in, truly internalized, and truly acted on, so that you can have safe Bangladesh.
We are now end of the program, mostly end of the program. If any suggestion, or if you want to say something for our viewer on OSH, Occupational Safety and Health, any suggestion?
Well, thank you, Jabbar, and really it's been first of all a pleasure to talk to you, and we value the opportunity to also to talk to the viewers. So my message is very clear. Occupational safety and health and safety at work is everybody's business. So each and everyone should really know about occupational safety and health risks, and not only to know, but to be able to understand what their own role is in keeping your workplace, their workplace safe, because it is your personal safety, but it's also the safety of your co-workers, and at the end of the day, everybody who is around you. So let's keep Bangladesh workplaces safe. Let's do it together. We as ILO, we are always happy to assist as much as needed, but at the end of the day, the responsibility lies with each and every one of us.
Thank you so much. Thank you with being with us, Tomo.
Thank you, it's been a pleasure.
বাংলাদেশ এখন অনেক বেশি এগিয়ে যাওয়া বাংলাদেশ এখন অর্থনীতি এবং সমৃদ্ধির যে যাত্রাপথ আছে সেই যাত্রাপথ অব্যাহত থাকুক, তবে এই অব্যাহত থাকবার জন্য অনেক বেশি প্রয়োজন অকুপেশনাল সেফটি এবং হেলথ। আমরা চাই বাংলাদেশ শ্রমিক এবং কারখানা এবং শ্রম এই সব কিছুর মধ্যে সমন্বয় রাখুক এবং ওশের বিষয়টি মাথায় রেখে গুরুত্ব দিয়ে এগিয়ে যাক। ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে, আবারও দেখা হবে।